Hello physical fiends, it's Jordan here with another Worth a Purchase where I play a game for a short amount of time to see if I buy it myself. Today I'm taking a look at a game I've been rather excited about, Witch Spring R. This is releasing on the Switch and PlayStation 5 digitally very soon. It's been out on Steam for like half a year already, but we're all about physical releases here, and of course Witch Spring R will be getting a physical release. There is an early Japanese version and a later Western physical on PlayStation 5 and Switch, which I'll talk about later. But if you want to pre-order right now, check the links down below in the description and the pinned comment if you don't fancy waiting and you want to support me. Speaking of waiting, I've been waiting for this one for a good while. I was a fan of the previous game that was on the Switch, Witch Spring 3 Refine, and this brand new game was supposed to be bigger and better. So, what is the Witch Spring series? Well, it's a game series that started life in mobile origins. Very simple games, but they've gradually grown into proper full games. This is a genre mix, and a good comparison would be to the Atelier series from Koei, just from a slightly different top-down perspective. If you've ever played the Atelier Marie remake, that came out like last year was it, they are remarkably similar to one another, which is no bad thing. So that tells you it's a mix of ingredients gathering, crafting, and JRPG battles. It's got a cute story about a white witch, who in a world where witches are banished to the dark forest as children, and then are hunted by soldiers from a nearby kingdom, it's an interesting story so far. I like the characters that have been introduced. They're all quirky, humorous, and interesting. Unfortunately, the main character's name is Pieberry, which instantly made me want to find a deep body of water to jump into. I'm sure I had a Pieberry latte last Halloween, but thankfully, in the end, don't judge a book by its name because she's actually very adorable and instantly likable. This is a very nice game that's quite simple, but I do find it refreshing. Don't expect anything deep in any of its mechanics, and it does kind of feel like it still could be a mobile game, but it's enjoyable nonetheless. It's linear in the fact that you always have a main goal to target for in advancing the main plot, but in doing so, you'll be getting into fairly fun scrapes with the enemies in traditional turn-based JRPG combat. I wasn't much of a fan of the enemy placement on the maps. It seems very lifeless as they just stand there waiting for you to bump into them or not. And I know some people would rather flush their head down the toilet than have random battles, but I think I would have preferred that option here. The battles themselves, pretty good, very traditional, not too many gimmicks, it's just your pretty standard JRPG affair, and I liked it a lot. One of my favorite features so far is being able to use mind control magic on certain monsters in the story, who you can use both in and out of battle in different ways. I like monster catching, and although I don't expect the game to have too many overall, I think it's been handled well so far. You can't catch everything you see. That may sound limiting and disappointing for like Pokemon fans, and my daughter, she watched me play this. She's 6 and she was ranting and raving about why I wasn't allowed to catch some of the more cuter monster designs. But I'm not 6 and I could appreciate the balance and the story beats. For me, it works. In the field, you can gather ingredients, which you can take home to brew some potions with. In order to raise your stats, you don't get XP from battles, but you do have to do training routines at home. These are mini games you have to do, and each one increases something different. Like some raise your HP, some your defense, agility, you know how it goes. Each minigame is different as well, and try not to balls up on your first time at trying because the game doesn't give you much of an instruction about them. You just kind of have to figure it out yourself, which I like, but I ballsed up the very first one I did because I thought it was like a rhythm game, like, timing presses where you have to wait for the circle to get smaller and smaller and then press it at the right time. But no, I just had to mash it. That was kind of embarrassing. All of the things in this game are very simple, but I think just like Witch Spring 3, it's a game that's greater than the sum of its parts, even more so. This is a much more accomplished video game, at least in what I've played so far. I really like it. I think the biggest criticism of Witch Spring R is that, yeah, it still feels like a mobile game in terms of scope of its environments. It looks nice, don't get me wrong, but very dinky. That probably stems from it being a remake of the original Witch Spring. Of course, it's massively enhanced and almost unrecognizable, but you can tell it has mobile origins. But I would not let that detract you from picking up this really lovely game overall. So, the physical release, what's going on? Well, despite releasing digitally right now, well, around this time on home consoles, the Western physical release will not be happening until October, late October at that, which kinda sucks. It's getting a physical release on Switch and PlayStation 5 in North America. I don't believe there is a European physical this time around. It's coming in a standard and collector's edition, which includes a figure of the main character, a download code for the soundtrack, a hardcover art book, and some DLC costumes. Not exactly a wonderful collector's edition, if I'm being honest, especially not for the price. I would have liked everything physically, including the soundtrack. But if you want to pre-order it, you can do so via the links in the description and the pinned comment. You can get it from Video Games Plus, who have free worldwide shipping if you purchase something over 80 Canadian dollars. At least I hope they've opened pre-orders for this. Maybe they have by the time I've edited it together. Either way, they're a great company and they will be selling this at some point, and if you purchase via the link below, you support me at the same time. But if you want the game early, physically, you can take a look at the Japanese physical edition, which is this week. Again, physically on both Switch and PlayStation 5, and they play in English, so no problem. It also has the advantage of being a little bit cheaper than the Western physical, like $10. There's even an enhanced collector's edition over there, enhanced in size and price. So the collector's edition there includes the figurine, the art book, and the costume DLC, but this time has swapped the soundtrack download for a soundtrack on a USB stick, which is a mild upgrade, I suppose, and it also includes some pin badges and character cards. If you want to order this version, you can do so via Play Asia with the links in the description and pinned comment. They have free shipping worldwide, over $100, and I can also help you out too. Yeah, I can give you a tasty 5% off. So if you click my link and you purchase something, you can get 5% off with the code Jordan24. And if you do purchase with any of the links, that massively helps me out so much, and I greatly appreciate your support. Overall, would I buy Witch Spring Arm myself? Yes, I would. I was already excited about it, but maybe a tiny bit trepidatious since I'd heard rumors of it being badly optimized on the Switch, but in like 2 hours of playtime, I didn't notice any issues like at all. Maybe that comes later, maybe there are like bigger areas to explore, but it seemed okay to me right now. I would definitely purchase this game with my own money, that's for sure. It's a lovely game that's simple in each of its mechanics, but it comes together really well. It's greater than the sum of its parts. I've used that phrase before, but it's really apt for this game. So simple, but it comes together nicely. Are you planning on purchasing this? Will you pick up the early Japanese version, or will you wait for a North American release? Please let me know in the comments. Did you play the previous Witch Spring game on the Switch or on any place? Did you? Let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts on the series, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.